Tracking a few storms on Live Viper 6, and some of these are bringing some very heavy rain. We actually have an aerial flood advisory in place for parts of Aiken and Edgefield County until 11:15. I'll have all the details on your forecast, plus a look at the heat and humidity coming up.
Come after our children, we're going to come after you in regards to gang recruitment efforts. Certainly we've been hearing that from our educators.
Now at 10, the governor of the Peach State is cracking down on gang recruiters and human traffickers. Plus, Augusta's property tax assessments going out, how the notice could affect your bill, and changes coming to an empty lot in Harlem. What the future holds for the old site of North Harlem Elementary School. As your news at 10 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 10 on MeTV.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Coverage you can count on begins with the annual notice.
George Escala, WJBF News Channel 6.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is cracking down on gangs and increasing public safety. Governor Kemp announcing today plans to go after gang recruiters and human traffickers and to help victims. The Crime Suppression Unit works with local law enforcement. Investigators say gangs often target young people because the penalties are typically less severe. Gangs often offer young victims money and a sense of belonging.
The GBI Gang Task Force, to date, we've investigated 446 gang-related cases across 100 counties, again showing that this is there are no geographic boundaries for gang activity in our state. But there are no geographic boundaries for GBI or the Attorney General's office either. We're going where the locals need us to continue to go after street gangs.
Governor Kemp says the state has increased the base salary for law enforcement by $6,000 for next year's budget in hopes of retaining officers. It is time now to take a first look at our forecast. For that, we turn to meteorologist Jenna Petracci.
Well, Jenny, I've been tracking a few storms this evening. The good news is that they are starting to break apart, though. Here's the 1 hour latest scan on Live Viper 6. We've had some very heavy rain come down in parts of Edgefield and Aiken County. However, notice most of the CSRA enjoying nice dry weather this evening, but all our focus is definitely on Edgefield and Aiken right now, where we actually have an aerial flood advisory in place until 11:15 p.m. for this polygon here in green. But as you can see, all that rain has now moved off towards the east, actually no longer in this polygon, so it is possible that this will be dropped sooner than later now that these storms are finally starting to weaken and speed up a bit. So just some light rain around the Trenton area just outside of downtown Aiken, moving up towards the northeast, actually in Saluda County as well. We have some very light rainfall just outside of downtown and just to the east of Rich Spring along the border of Aiken County. We have some brief heavy rain. And overall, those rainfall totals have reached 2 inches just around the Murphy's Estates area in Edgefield County and parts of Aiken as well, seeing around 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain. So if you're headed out late this evening, since it's very dark outside, of course, you need to be extra careful when driving on some of these flooded roadways. Now, over the next couple of hours, we're going to see a few more storms here and there, but most of those dissipating by 2 o'clock this morning, just partly cloudy skies. And when you're headed out the door for your Friday morning, no rain to worry about. Our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam looking good over SRP Park. Just that light rain that came through earlier. 95 degrees was our temperature today. And right now, still very warm and muggy conditions. Feeling like 90 at Daniel Field with more heat and humidity and storms tomorrow. I'll have all those details coming up, but back to you, Jenny.
All right, thank you so much, Jenna. A local landscaper is sharing his story after collapsing while working outside in extreme heat. Nikita Dennis is live in the Satellite News Center now with more.
Yeah, Idris Nur says he woke up in the hospital in shock. Now he wants to help others who work outdoors stay safe in the summer heat.
I was actually kind of scared when I woke up because I looked around and I was like, this is not the grass.
Idris Nur is calling what he experienced a miracle. Nur was working as a landscaper Tuesday when he collapsed in the extreme Augusta heat.
And I was finishing up blowing like 4 or 5 decks, I think, like the leaf blower. And I was walking back between houses. And then honestly, I don't remember much. Just that I just woke up here at 6 or something like that.
Our Viper 6 alert weather team says the temperature was around 94 degrees, which is the average temperature this time of year. Nur came into doctor's hospital with a high temperature of 105 and was admitted in the ICU.
So normal temperature is about 98.6. You don't want your temperature to go over about 103. Less than that, but 103, you're going to most likely have a heat stroke.
Medical professionals say they used everything they could to save Nur's life.
So when a patient comes in, we usually do cooling measures. We do IV fluids, ice packs. You can put it around the head, the neck, the armpit, the groin area. We have certain devices that we can apply to the patient that circulates cool air or cool water.
As he turns to the doctors, he tells them he's grateful for all they've done to help keep him alive.
You helped me out so much, and I really appreciate it, like, a lot. I really do.
He hopes sharing his experience will prevent something like this from happening to others.
I would say be very hyperactive for yourself and just keep drinking water. Like, just don't stop.
So you want to wear light, loose-fitting clothing, stay well hydrated. What doesn't count are sodas, coffee, alcohol. So water, juices, sports drinks.
Nur is expected to be released from the hospital Friday. Live in the Satellite News Center, I'm Nikita Dennis, WJBF News Channel 6.
All right, thank you, Nikita. A lot of important information there. The property where North Harlem Elementary School used to be is being sold to the city of Harlem. Soon be joining the writers in their protest. We'll have the full story after the break.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Good Thursday evening. Check out these rainfall totals over the last 3 hours, really over just the last hour and a half or so for this area here of Edgefield and Aiken County. Around 2.5 inches outside of Murphy's Estates and around 1 inch to 1.5 inches, all in this green area here in parts of Aiken and Edgefield County once again. So that's where there's an aerial flood advisory until 11:15. But as we look at Live Viper 6, the good news is that these storms are really weakening very quickly now. We had some very heavy rain going on for quite some time, but now as you can see across that polygon, not a single drop of rain anymore. So it is possible this will be dropped sooner than later, but as of now goes until another hour. Just some light sprinkles here and there outside of downtown Aiken, also down towards the south of that in Burke County. We have one brief heavy downpour, but looking pretty good in Waynesboro. A nice dry night. Here's our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam. Temperatures are still very warm and muggy, 81 degrees with a south wind of 5 miles per hour. Dew point of 70, visibility perfect at 10 miles this evening. We're seeing a lot of low 80s still, 82 in Barnwell, Bamberg, 79 in Aiken, a little bit cooler from the rain, 77 down in Millen, 85 up in Lincolnton, and the heat index still close to that 90-degree mark. In fact, 92 in Lincolnton, feeling like 90 over in Barnwell and Bamberg, mid to upper 80s for the rest of us. Now we have plenty of moisture across the CSRA due to a southwest flow bringing in some moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and we also have this trough that'll stay over the CSRA over the next few days, and that provides us with enough lift along with that moisture to bring some more storms for our Friday. So we're starting out the day dry and partly cloudy, certainly warm though at 81 degrees, making it to 93 by the 5 o'clock hour, and at that point we'll see some rain. So the feels like temperatures are going to be very, very high. We're going to be in those upper 90s by the late morning, feeling like the triple digits by the early afternoon, and as high as 106 in Augusta tomorrow. So anywhere between around 105 to 108 as that heat index over the next few days, despite our actual temperatures being right around average in those low to mid 90s. Now, as we go into next week, I am expecting even hotter temperatures. Notice the entire South expected to be above average. So we can see our temperatures go from average to around 98 degrees for pretty much all of next week. Now going back to our future cast, here's that trough staying across our area, as I mentioned, bringing some afternoon and evening storms tomorrow. There's going to be a cold front as well, but that'll stay outside of our area. So just that trough bringing a few storms for our Friday, more storms for our Saturday night and into Sunday. So for Saturday, any outdoor plans you have will be good for the first half of the day. But keep in mind, if you're headed out to the lake or pool by around 6 o'clock, we're going to have a pretty strong line come through. Definitely some gusty winds, heavy rain, and frequent lightning expected with that. but I'm not expecting any severe storms. Now, our lows tonight will be in the mid-70s, and for tomorrow, topping off in those low to mid-90s. Our 10-day forecast showing the heat this week and next week, but definitely mostly next week as our temperatures go up to around 96 to 99 degrees, and our rain chances going back down to around 20%. Back to you.
What's under your home?
Sandy can fix it.
At Tile Center, our highly trained design professionals will discuss your ideas and provide helpful suggestions to help you create that dream room from beginning to end. Our goal is to provide excellent customer service that instills confidence in our clients about the quality of products you select for your home. Come see why for yourself at any of our locations at Tile Center or online at tilecenter.com. Your tile and stone experts.
Are you searching for unique household gifts and trendy clothing that capture your imagination? At Blissful Boutique, we have it all under one roof, offering you a delightful shopping experience. Step inside and immerse yourself in a fashion enthusiast's dream. From our popular men's collection to our chic and trendy women's apparel, we offer an array perfect for everyone. Come visit us at Blissful Boutique or online and experience the joy of finding that perfect something. We can't wait to welcome you.
The death of a loved one, 1875.
Should have called the butler.
And last but not least, you're right, while Major League Baseball continues the All-Star break, the Bristol All-Stars were on the field.
These guys weren't going to let anything stop them from playing the game they've loved for 8 decades.
Joe Marcy has the story.
For the boys of summer, the diamond is like Neverland. Just ask Carmen DiStefano, who's still playing softball at 92 years old.
Very enjoyable, shooting is made a lot of friends.
Wednesday, the New York Senior Softball Association held their annual All-Star game in Hicksville. The teams made up of players 80 and up celebrated the 50th anniversary of the 1973 World Series by wearing hats representing the Mets and A's.
It's 50 years ago. It feels like yesterday.
The 73 Mets had the worst record of any team to reach the World Series. They were 11 games under 500 and in last place on July 12, 1973. But that's nothing to the odds Huntington native Jack Battaglia had to overcome just to be out on the field.
In 2020, I had a quadruple bypass surgery, and about a month after that, my kidneys were going, so I was on dialysis until January 15th of 2021, where I had a kidney transplant.
But after Battaglia's doctors gave him the green light, he immediately started working his way back into playing shape.
I'll just reference one guy, Tug McGraw. You gotta believe. And I believed in myself. Everybody believed. Excuse me.
No, I get it. Take your time.
Everybody believed in me. So here I am.
Oh, wow. That was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, I hope you guys like the heat because it is sticking around all this week and getting even hotter next week. We're getting close to the 100-degree mark.
All right. We'll see you again at 11 on News Channel 6 at 6. Channel 6.
It's Jumbo Bucks Lotto, Georgia's own Jack PTO. It's your game, Georgia.
It was a very hot and humid day, and the typical July heat is sticking with us through the weekend. And believe it or not, we are heating up much more as we go into next week. I'll have all those details coming up.
Now at 11, a worker collapses due to the extreme heat. How he's urging others to stay safe. Plus, a former drama school teacher facing child exploitation charges. Details on this multi-state investigation. And property value increases in Augusta. Bigger numbers on this year's notices as your news at 11 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with a local landscaper sharing his story after collapsing while working outside in this extreme heat. Nikita Dennis is live in Satellite News Center with his story.
Idris Nur says he woke up in the hospital in shock. Now he wants to help others who work outdoors stay safe in the summer heat.
That was actually kind of scary when I woke up because I looked around and I was like, this is not the grass.
Idris Nur is calling what he experienced a miracle. Nur was working as a landscaper Tuesday when he collapsed in the extreme Augusta heat.
And I was finishing up blowing like 4 or 5 like decks, I think, like the leaf blower. And I was walking back like between houses. And then honestly, I don't remember much. Just that I just woke up here at like 6 or something like that.
Our Viper 6 alert weather team says the temperature was around 94 degrees, which is the average temperature this time of year. Nur came into Doctor's Hospital with a high temperature of 105 and was admitted in the ICU.
So normal temperature is about 98.6. You don't want your temperature to go over about 103. Less than that, but 103, you're going to most likely have a heat stroke.
Medical professionals say they used everything they could to save Nur's life.
So when a patient comes in, we usually do cooling measures. We do IV fluids, ice packs. You can put it around the head, the neck, the armpit, the groin area. We have certain devices that we can apply to the patient that circulates cool air or cool water.
As he turns to the doctors, he tells them he's grateful for all they've done to help keep him alive.
You helped me out so much, and I really appreciate it, like, a lot. I really do.
He hopes sharing his experience will prevent something like this from happening to others.
I would say be very hyperactive of yourself and just keep drinking water. Like, just don't stop.
So you want to wear light, loose-fitting clothing, stay well hydrated. What doesn't count are sodas, coffee, alcohol. So water, juices, sports drinks.
Nur is expected to be released from the hospital Friday. Live in the Satellite News Center, Nikita Dennis, WJBF, News Channel 6.
All right, Nikita, thank you. It's time now for our first check of the forecast, and take a look at this. Gary and Mary Hurst sent this video from about 9:30 tonight in Lincolnton. They said they never heard any thunder, but it looks like quite a lightning shower going on there. Jenna?
What an incredible video, Jenny. And what that is what we typically hear is called heat lightning. Now, what that actually means is that it's cloud to ground lightning from a distant thunderstorm. So as Jenny mentioned, this video was taken up in Lincolnton, and Mary and Gary were looking down towards the southeast at an isolated storm around the border of Edgefield and Aiken County. And this storm became pretty strong. Here's a 3-hour loop of Live Viper 6. You can see over just 15 minutes, this storm produced over 700 strikes of lightning. So it definitely makes sense that it was really lighting up the sky as far off to the north as Lincolnton. And this is the storm that actually produced an aerial flood advisory as well. And that aerial flood advisory was just now dropped. But that brought around 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rainfall along the border here of Aiken and Edgefield County, 2.2 just outside of Murphy's Estates. So luckily things are looking much better now on Live Viper 6. We're actually not seeing a single drop of rain now. All those storms have dissipated and things are looking much better as we go into the overnight hours. Our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over in Aiken. A little damp outside, definitely warm and muggy, but no rain at the moment, and we're not expecting any more showers until tomorrow afternoon. It was a very hot and humid day as well. 95 degrees was our high temperature, 1 degree above average. And right now, we're still in those upper 70s and low 80s, feeling like 86 degrees still at Daniel Field when you factor in those dew points in the low 70s. Now, we also still have this trough over the CSRA, along with abundant moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and that'll bring us the chance of storms once again tomorrow. But in the meantime, just starting out warm and dry, partly cloudy skies, typical July heat through the weekend, but that heat index up to 105 and some scattered storms around. Now, as I mentioned, it will be heating up even more next week, and I'll have those details coming up. But back to you, Jenny.
All right, Jenna, thank you very much. A federal grand jury has indicted a former Washington County high school drama teacher on 21 counts related to child sexual abuse material. Bria Smith has the details.
I think it's incredibly sad and it's scary, you know? I mean, one day I want to have kids and I'm not sitting in the school, so I have to worry about, are they going to be preyed upon by their teachers?
Gracie Howard is a former student at a Washington County high school and was shocked when she heard the news.
I mean, all my friends in high school were in theater, and so I was like, oh my God, like, what if something happened to my friends, So, I mean, it was just very concerning.
After the initial complaints landed Dendy in the Washington County Jail in January, lead investigator Sergeant Corey Collier says They called for more help after learning more information.
During the investigation, we found that there are some victims that could possibly be out of state. So we reached out to the Department of Homeland Security with their majority of resources to help us in the case.
Dendy has since been indicted by the federal government, charged with possessing, receiving, and distributing child pornography. And investigators say there could be more charges.
I mean, it's no different than we would treat any other case or try to get justice for the victim in any other case. It's the same, but definitely when it was found out he was a suspect, it was a wow factor.
Howard didn't have Dendy as a teacher, but she says she knew who he was.
He was like on morning duty a lot, so I would like see him when I was walking into school. I was not in the theater program. He was very, like, I never spoke to him, but he was always just kind of there.
Dendy was arrested in January on his original charges, but is awaiting his arraignment on his federal charges. Investigators say if he's convicted, he could face a minimum of 15 years in prison. In Washington County, Bria Smith, WJBF, News Channel 6.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office asks you to contact them or the Homeland Security Hotline on their website if you or someone you know is a victim in this case. Thousands of Augusta property owners are experiencing trees should be planted this fall. Up next at 11, how South Carolina lawmakers are supporting first responders and their families. We'll bring you the details when coverage you can count on continues.
News Nation on your TV, go to joinnn.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The Live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai. Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Good Thursday evening. Boy, it was a hot and humid day. Here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over at Washington Road. It is a nice and dry night. Certainly still very warm and muggy, though, with a temperature of 78 degrees. Dew point of 72, feeling like 79. And we won't be dropping much more than that. I'm expecting mid-70s overnight tonight. And we're actually still seeing a lot of low 80s on our map. 81 in Washington, 80 in Sparta, 80 as well in Thompson. A little bit cooler out towards the east at 75 in Edgefield, 77 now in Aiken. Under partly cloudy skies. We had a few storms pop up across the Midlands earlier this evening, but for the most part, a pretty dry day. We could certainly use some rain, though, to give us some heat relief, and we'll get a little bit of that over the next few days. I'll have all those details in just a moment, but it's this trough over the CSRA, along with a southwest flow, that's going to bring us abundant moisture and give us enough lift to produce some thunderstorms that will become scattered over the next few days. Now, for our Friday, we're starting out at 81 degrees, partly cloudy skies, 93 by the 5 o'clock hour, and at that point, we could have some pop-up showers and storms. The heat index is going to be very high tomorrow by the late morning, already into those upper 90s, making it into the triple digits by the afternoon, as hot as 106, with the air temperature right around average in those low to mid 90s. So we're actually dealing with just typical July heat over the weekend, not really anything above normal. But as we go into next week and even into the following week, it is expected to be above normal across the entire South, above average temperatures in the forecast. And you can see those temperatures steadily rise all the way up to 96 on Monday, 98 for your Tuesday through Thursday, getting pretty close to that 100-degree mark. And I do think it's possible we could see at least one 100-degree day next week. So be sure to be with us over the weekend and into next week, as we'll have some updates on that. But in the meantime, tomorrow morning, we're starting out the day dry. However, this trough will still be over the area, and that'll produce some thunderstorms in the afternoon. Very scattered, though, definitely not a washout of a day. And Saturday starts out looking pretty good, but then we'll see more rain and storms come through in the evening. And this cold front will be staying out towards the northwest, so that will not be moving through, and that will not be bringing us any heat relief, even though we can definitely use it. Now, here's a closer look at Saturday. If you're headed out to the lake or pool, it will be okay for the first first half of the day, but if you start to hear some rumbles of thunder, be sure to head indoors because notice by 6 o'clock we have this pretty strong line coming through. Definitely some gusty winds, frequent lightning, and heavy downpours expected with that, though I don't think it will make it to severe level, but definitely still something to take seriously for any of your plans on Saturday. Now our lows tonight will be in the mid-70s, and for tomorrow we'll make it into the mid-90s, right around average. 93 to 94 over the weekend with a 60% chance of rain for your Saturday. Back down to just 20% all of next week. Not a whole lot of rain. The main story is definitely the heat, as we'll be up to 99 degrees around this time next week.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, the families of South Carolina first responders who pay the ultimate sacrifice will receive a little more support from the state. If an eligible law enforcement officer, firefighter, or paramedic dies in the line of duty, their beneficiaries can receive $75,000 from the state. If their death is the result of an unlawful act or they're killed while responding to an emergency or other similar incident, that amount could increase to $150,000.
They're here to help citizens in a time of need, and they do it whether it be a volunteer, career, it doesn't matter. They all do it to help their fellow neighbor and make their community safer.
These benefits apply to volunteer first responders in the state as well. When we come back, Hollywood on hiatus. Details on the writers and actors strike going on for the first time in decades when we come back. First, though, a look at the winning numbers in tonight's South Carolina Lottery 792. And the pick 4 winning numbers tonight, 3059. That fireball is 7.
The WJBF Live Viper 6 Skyview Network is sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai. Low prices, big selection, and committed to quality customer service.
Hollywood could be on hiatus. Starting tomorrow, more than 160,000 members of the Screen Actors Guild will begin a strike after negotiations between the union and studios have failed. Tim Pulliam with more.
Turmoil in Tinseltown. For the first time in 63 years, both actors and writers will be on strike. Writers have been out of work since May. Actors joining these same picket lines Friday after contract negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers broke down.
You share the wealth because you cannot exist without us.
Actress Fran Drescher is president of the union. She says they were given no choice. She spoke to ABC's Matt Gutman.
We want to work. We're a labor union. What's happening to us is happening all over the country.
The union's 160,000 members are demanding better pay, regulations for artificial intelligence, and increased residuals, which for many provides access to health care. On the ESPY's red carpet, I spoke with actress Coco Jones reacting to the looming strike.
I think it's really brought a new respect to all the pieces that it really takes to keep Hollywood, the big machine, moving.
The Alliance of Studios and Streamers says they offer the actors historic pay and residual increases and promises on protecting actors' digital likenesses from AI. But the union says that offer was not enough. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, the parent company of ABC News, says the union's expectations are not realistic and could impact thousands.
There's huge collateral damage in the industry to people who are, who are support services. I could go on and on. It will affect the economy of, different regions even, because of just the sheer size of the business. It's a shame. It is really a shame.
The strike not only prohibits actors from working, but also means they cannot promote their work. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Coming up, a unique workout program bringing together those affected by cancer and a new look for several local athletic programs ahead of the high school football season. In sports.
23 GX 460. It's a Goldilocks experience. Some heating and air conditioning contractor prices are too high. There's an extra charge for everything. Some advertised prices are too low. Like not real. Contact Styles Heating and Cooling, the company that is just right. Styles has been keeping area homeowners comfortable for more than 50 years. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Styles repairs it right the first time and replaces only what can't be repaired. See us on the web at stylesair.com.
By Bridgestone. WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
When the 2023 high school football season begins, things will look a lot different. At 4 Richmond County schools, there it is. Work is done installing brand new artificial turf fields and track renovations. Certainly pop, don't they? Butler, Cross Creek, Laney, and Westside High Schools, all with new fields and tracks from Sport Turf, the same company that installed them at 5 Columbia County schools a year ago. About $1 million of pop, but expected to save money in the long run. A lot less maintenance and upkeep, not to mention better drainage. Well, the highlight's going to look a lot better on football Friday night and game night live. Looking good. If you've got a rising 1st through 8th grader, obviously school not in session, who loves baseball or softball, Augusta Jaguars head coach Chris Howell hosting his Augusta baseball camp next week, July 25th to the 27th, 8 to noon at Jaguar Field. Got room for about 60 kids. Look at instruction not only from Jaguar coaches, but Jaguar players as well.
Oh man, it's exciting. Get a chance to get back and get some guys out here and try to help the fundamentals of baseball and have fun for 3 days. This is where it starts. Our guys get to come back out and have fun with the kids from Augusta and showcase and teach the game that they love playing.
For more information and to register, head to AugustaJags.com. Click on the Camps tab. The Livestrong Foundation, along with the local YMCA, put together a program for cancer survivors that focuses on strengthening the mind and body while providing a supportive environment. Markira Goldstein visited the program to learn more about how they're helping survivors here in the CSRA.
The Livestrong Foundation has partnered with the Wilson Family YMCA to offer a 12-week workout program to people who are living with, through, or beyond cancer.
It gets them out of the house. It helps them deal with depression, and again, they regain their strength if they've lost it because of treatment.
I think this keeps me more healthy, doing something, not sitting around thinking about the cancer, and knowing that the other folks have been through it.
Throughout the 12 weeks, the participants do many different activities.
Livestrong has 3 components. There is a cardio component, so the member would be, say, on the treadmill or a bike. There's the weight component, so we come into our all-access room here, and then we have a mind-body portion, and we choose to do chair yoga because, 1, folks don't have to get down on the floor, and 2, the research on chair yoga is phenomenal.
The thing that I like the most is the yoga. I really do enjoy the stretching, and she's taught me some things that I can do even at home.
Physical activity may be important, but the most vital part of the program is the camaraderie.
The people I'm working out with, they are awesome, and they give each other encouragement. They give me encouragement, so they inspire me, and I'm so happy to be a part of this group.
In Augusta, Pure Goldstein, WJBF News Channel 6.
Great to see it. I can get behind some chair yoga.
Sounds good.
I'd like you better at that.
Sounds really good. All right, thank you. Coming up, a look at one of the hardest working canines in baseball. Don't go away.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Channel 6.
Finally tonight, for fans of the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, big part of the experience is seeing one of the hardest workers on the field, Slider, the bat dog. He works 9 to 5 with his handlers to make sure he's well trained and ready to go on game day to go fetch the baseball bats. His handlers say it's a lot of hard work, but he's eager every morning to get after it.
Wow.
Good boy there. See, I propose
Yeah.
the next time they play the Green Jackets, bring him on.
Right?
Let him
Bring
get a road
Slider.
trip.
Yes, that would make me enjoy watching baseball a lot more. Well, for our forecast this week, we have some hot and humid temperatures. We're in the mid-90s for now, or actually some days even in the low 90s. But next week we are heating up big time, all the way into the upper 90s. We're going to be seeing 98 to 99 degrees. 40% chance of rain tomorrow, up to 60% on Saturday, then just 20% all of next week.
All right, well, that's our report for now, everybody. Thank you for watching. Our next news is at 4:30 with Mary Morrison and Barkley Bishop. Have a great night.